Keanu Reeves was blocked by a motorbike gang. Keanu Reeves was almost slapped, but when the truth was revealed, it was a quiet evening in downtown Los Angeles. Keanu Reeves had just finished dinner at a small restaurant and was heading home on his black Norton Commando motorcycle. The streets were mostly empty, the neon lights reflecting off the pavement as he cruised through the city. But as he turned onto a less busy road, the low growl of engines surrounded him. He glanced in his side mirror. 6 motorbikes had formed a loose semicircle behind him, their headlights glowing like the eyes of hungry predators. At the next red light, they closed in, blocking both sides of his bike. Keanu slowed to a stop, calmly pulling off his helmet. The leader, a tall man with tattoos covering his arms, stepped forward. His leather vest had the words Black Crows MC stitched on the back. "You got some nerve, rolling through our turf like you own the place," the man growled. Keanu raised an eyebrow, didn't realize the road belonged to anyone. The gang members chuckled, but there was no warmth in their laughter. Another biker, a stocky guy with a thick beard, pointed at Keanu's bike. "Nice ride. Real nice. Bet it cost a fortune." Keanu remained unfazed. "She's got some years on her, but she's reliable." The leader stepped even closer, looking Keanu in the eye. "You know what happens when rich guys roll through here without respect." Keanu stayed silent. The leader lifted a hand as if ready to slap him. The bikers tensed, waiting to see if Hollywood's toughest action star would flinch. But before the leader's hand could come down, a voice cut through the tension. "Wait, that's Keanu Reeves." The gang turned toward the source of the voice, a younger biker who had been watching from the back. He pulled off his helmet, revealing a face full of shock. "Dude, are you serious? You don't know who this is? This guy rides like one of us. He's been into bikes forever." The leader hesitated. "Wait, the Keanu Reeves." Keanu gave a small nod. "That's me." The bikers exchanged looks. Some of them started whispering. "The guy who rides arch motorcycles. The guy who did all his own stunts in John Wick. The guy who gave away millions to his film crew." The leader's hand slowly lowered. The tension in the air evaporated. The bearded biker scratched his head. "Man, we almost jumped Keanu Reeves." The younger biker laughed. "Yeah, and if we did, I'm pretty sure we'd be the ones in trouble, not him." Keanu smirked. "I don't want any trouble, just passing through." The leader sighed, shaking his head with a chuckle. "Damn, sorry man, we thought you were just some rich guy looking down on us." "No worries," Keanu said. "I get it." One of the bikers suddenly grinned. "You ever race, Reeves?" Keanu glanced at his Norton and then back at the gang. "Depends on what we're racing for." Another biker laughed. "Bragging rights, of course." Keanu put his helmet back on. "All right, let's ride." With that, the gang revved their engines, and Keanu took off down the open road with them. That night, the Hollywood superstar didn't feel like a celebrity. He just felt like another biker, riding with a pack, chasing the night. The roar of engines filled the empty streets as Keanu and the bikers sped through the city. The wind rushed past, neon lights streaking across their visors. The leader of the Black Crows MC, whose name Keanu learned was Red, rode beside him, grinning as they weaved through traffic. It wasn't about winning, it was about the ride. The group eventually reached an abandoned parking lot near the edge of town, where they skidded to a stop in a cloud of dust. The bikers laughed and patted Keanu on the back as he pulled off his helmet. "Damn," Red said, catching his breath. "You weren't kidding. You can ride." Keanu smirked. "Told you she's reliable." He patted the side of his Norton. The bearded biker, who introduced himself as Cole, shook his head in disbelief. "Man, I can't believe we almost jumped you. That would have been the dumbest thing we ever did." Keanu chuckled. "I appreciate that you didn't." One of the younger bikers, the same one who recognized Keanu earlier, spoke up. "You know, we do these rides every week. Not just racing, but long trips out in the desert up the coast. You should come sometime." Keanu thought about it. His schedule was always packed, movies, interviews, events, but there was something about the freedom of the road, the raw simplicity of riding with no destination. "I just might," he said. Red nodded. "If you ever need a crew to ride with, you know where to find us." The night ended with laughter, stories, and a newfound respect between Keanu and the Black Crows. What had started as a confrontation turned into an unexpected friendship. As Keanu rode home, the city lights twinkling around him, he smiled. Life was unpredictable, but sometimes the best stories came from the most unexpected rides. A few weeks passed and life went on as usual for Keanu. Between filming and business meetings, he found himself thinking back to that night with the Black Crowes MC. There was something different about them, not just their rough exterior, but the way they lived for the ride. One evening after a long day on set, Keanu was sitting in his garage, running a cloth over the sleek body of his Norton Commando. The quiet hum of the city filled the night air. Then, his phone buzzed. It was a message from an unknown number. Night ride. Midnight. Same spot. If you're in, you're in. Keanu smirked. He didn't need to ask who it was from. By the time he reached the parking lot, the Black Crowes were already waiting. Their bikes lined up under the dim streetlights, the chrome reflecting in the darkness. Red grinned when he saw Keanu pull up. "Didn't think you'd show," he said, tossing Keanu a nod of respect. "I had to see what all the hype was about." Keanu replied. Without another word, the engines roared to life, and the group took off into the night. This wasn't a race, it was something else, something wilder. They rode out of the city, past the flickering streetlights, past the quiet suburbs, past the edge of the world Keanu knew. Soon the road stretched into open desert, the air crisp, the stars above endless. Keanu felt it. The freedom, the rush, the pure exhilaration of just riding. No cameras, no expectations, just the machine beneath him and the road ahead. After an hour, they pulled into a small roadside diner, the kind that looked like it hadn't changed since the 1950s. They parked their bikes in a neat row and piled into a booth inside. As the waitress poured coffee, Red leaned back and studied Keanu. "You know, most Hollywood types wouldn't be out here with us." Keanu shrugged. "Most Hollywood types don't ride." Cole chuckled. "Fair enough." For a while, they just talked about bikes, about life on the road, about places they'd seen and places they wanted to go. Then, out of nowhere, Red got quiet. He tapped his fingers on the table before looking at Keanu. "There's something we want to ask you," he said. Keanu raised an eyebrow. "Go on." Red took a deep breath. "We've been running charity rides for years, raising money for veterans, shelters, kids in need. But we don't get a lot of traction. We're just a bunch of bikers to most people." He paused. "But if you rode with us, if people saw that, it could change things." Keanu was silent for a moment. He hadn't expected this. "You don't have to," Red added quickly. "We don't want your money. We don't want publicity for us. We just think it could help." Keanu sipped his coffee, then set the cup down. He thought about the rides he had taken, the stories he had heard, the people these guys were trying to help. Then he nodded. "Let's do it." Red grinned. Cole whistled. The younger bikers exchanged looks of excitement. That night as Keanu rode back toward the city, he knew this was just the beginning. This wasn't just about motorcycles anymore. This was about something bigger.